Somewhere in corporate earnings call, an airline executive is discussing fuel costs. The reason, increasingly, has nothing to do with oil prices. It has to do with a drug class originally approved to treat diabetes. Lighter passengers mean lighter aircraft loads, which means measurably lower fuel consumption. It is a strange, almost accidental economic ripple, and it's just one of dozens now showing up across a surprising range of industries. The scale driving this ripple effect is genuinely enormous. A KFF poll found roughly 1 in 8 American adults already taking a GLP-1 drug like Ozempic or Wegovy for weight loss or another chronic condition. More strikingly, more than half of US adults, an estimated 137 million people, are medically eligible to take these medications, with usage expected to keep growing as prices fall and access expands. JP Morgan projects upwards of 30 million Americans will be on GLP-1 treatment by 2030. Consumer panel data from Numerator tracking actual household purchases rather than surveys found that GLP-1 households reduced spending by 10% across 100 separate categories, including groceries, quick service restaurants, and tobacco, compared to non-GLP-1 households. Deutsche Bank's own survey found GLP-1 users visit restaurants and order takeout roughly half as often as before, though they spend slightly more per visit when they do. At the grocery store, the drop is far from uniform. Ultra-processed and calorie-dense snacks fell roughly 10%, but so did staples like eggs and meat, while yogurt, fresh fruit, and protein-forward snacks also meaningful increases. This isn't a trend food companies are disputing, they are publicly restructuring it around it. Major food executives have begun explicitly acknowledging that what they call the lasting influence these medications will have on their sales. Nestle launched its first entirely new brand in nearly 30 years, specifically designed for GLP-1 consumers. General Mills and Danone are actively marketing high fiber, high protein products lines built around the specific satiety and metabolic needs of this growing user base. Not every industry is losing from this shift. Some are seeing a genuine, measurable tailwind. Wearable electronics sales rose 29% over 6 months, specifically among the GLP-1 users population, according to Consumer Edge data, likely reflecting medical guidance for GLP-1 users to exercise and strength train to offset the risk of muscle mass loss that can accompany rapid weight reduction. Fresh produce, protein-rich snacking, and fitness adjacent retail groceries are all showing measurable growth directly attributable to this same population shift. Jim Reid, Deutsche Bank's global head of macro and thematic strategy, offered a framing worth sitting with. While much of this financial world focuses on where artificial intelligence can take the economy in years ahead, the bigger near-term economic leap might be GLP-1 modification itself, describing it provocatively as the real short-term general-purpose technology for a wide range of consumers, particularly in the United States. The comparison to AI is deliberate, like AI GLP-1 adoption is reshaping consumer behavior across dozens of seemingly unrelated industries simultaneously, driven by a single underlying technological shift, at a pace most sector-specific corporate planning wasn't built to anticipate. The ripple effects extend further upstream than retail shelves, reaching agricultural producers. Direct academic analysis from Michigan State University's Product Center projects that widespread GLP-1 adoption will reduce demand for major field crops more than any other agricultural category, with dairy and most meat products also facing declining demand, putting real pressure on livestock producers, specifically poultry and egg producers, may see comparatively less impact, given eggs' favorable protein to fat ratio relative to other animal proteins, meaning the disruption isn't uniform even within a single sector. Producers' position toward the specific nutritional profile GLP-1 users favor may be genuinely insulated from a broader category decline. JP Morgan's own modeling projects GLP-1 adoption could reduce annual food and beverage industry revenue by $30 to $55 billion by the early 2030s, driven by users consuming roughly 21% fewer calories and spending 31% less on groceries overall. That's not a marginal industry adjustment. It is a genuine structural headwind large enough to reshape corporate strategy across an entire sector. And food companies are, by their own public statements, already treating it as a permanent feature of their planning rather than a temporary trend to wait out. A modification originally developed for diabetes management is now measurably reshaping restaurant visit frequency, snack food sales, wearable electronics demand, airline fuel costs, and commodity markets for crops most people have never directly connected to a prescription drug. It is a vivid demonstration of a pattern worth remembering broadly. The biggest economic disruptions rarely announce themselves as economic stories at first. They start as medical ones or technological ones. And the economic ripple only becomes visible once you start looking for it across industries that on the surface have nothing to do with each other. Thank you so much for your presence. I hope this has given you an insight into how far medical treatments and medical adjustments and medical profiles could shift your consumer behavior, and how important that was for industries as well as for individuals globally, worldwide, as this impact is being observed worldwide, not limited to a specific country or location. And the impact of this is going to continue on both industrial and population level. Looking forward to your interactions, your questions, your feedback, your personal experiences. I really appreciate that so much. Tell us if you had direct experience with GLP-1 or if you were user one. Thanks.